Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome, Jay Spence.
What's up? What's going on? The voice,
Dude. There's like football things happening. Like there's
it feels wonderful.
There's people 6 miles from my house throwing the football around like Ralph Wilson Field. We're just going to call it Ralph Wilson Field. Ralph Wilson Field. Like it's amazing to think these guys are in town. More people showed up. Like they're out there having fun. From everything that we're reading and hearing about today, they're getting in and out of huddles fast because they've all been in this system for the most part, except for the rookies, for 3 and 4 years. Continuity, which was a conversation I had on Sunday night. Man, welcome to the Hump Day Hotline.
Man, for just to start off, you were talking about like people 6 miles away and people throwing footballs and stuff. Did you see the highlight with the touchdown? And then I know it's like no defense, but Josh to Diggs. Like it looks just as good as it did last year, but even better because of the visor and stuff. Like it's like, come on, man. I'm so excited. Like I'm ready.
You once took the Step Brothers line to my voice and said that it's a mixture between Fergie and Jesus, and those passes between Josh and Diggs are absolutely, right there, if not higher. It's a thing of beauty. It has a Tom Brady, Randy Moss feel to it. It has just a natural. When you think of a quarterback and a wide receiver that are just connected, even Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, it has a feel to it that's just right.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's like, man, when you just said that, it gave me chills because you're right. For the first time in a long time, we have a connection that's very, very close to that Tom Brady Moss.
Right.
Like, I really feel like Josh and Steph can do something like that. And then, I'm not going to talk about other speculation and stuff like that, but I mean, like, I feel like for the foreseeable future, 3, 4, 5 years, however long they want to stay together, Diggs and Allen can do this.
Dude, and that was what was crazy. Your show with Marcel, and he was talking about like Diggs, and I guess he's going to make $17 million this year. Well, that's his cap number because they moved his money forward. We're going to talk about that later, I'm sure. But that's weird to think about. Like we're going to have a $40 million quarterback and a $20 million receiver if he's paid like as one of the top 3, which he is. But yeah, we're way ahead of ourselves. Everybody, welcome into the Hump Day Hotline. We're like having fun already.
We're already jumping into it.
Right. I am one of your co-hosts. My name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. That is my other co-host.
I am Jay Spence the King. You can find me on Twitter at Jay Spence the King.
And we are excited that you're here and going to be a part of our show tonight. Hopefully, if there's any first-time listeners, you guys will jump in and be a part of the comment section. My recommendation would be, if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, to jump over to YouTube, just because the community there and the conversation is a little bit better on YouTube. And that's where a lot of the folks are. And there's a lot of people here. Chris Jenke's here. Richard Rush is here. Bill's Mafia is here. Robbie is here. I saw you throw him up there. And I'm sure more people will be filtering in a moment. Do us a favor. Jump on that like button. Hump the like button. Jump on it hard, and we would appreciate that. But man, it's just good to be here. EB is here. He actually followed the Hump Day Hotline handle on Twitter today and said he couldn't wait for the show tonight. So welcome to the show, brother. So, but yeah, man, like football.
Oh, and you know what? And I see what it is too. I think tonight, normally we don't, but tonight I think we're going live at the same time as Cover One, as Greg and Aaron. I think so. We're going to be butting heads tonight, but those guys over there are pretty cool. So shout out to Cover One and those guys over there.
Yeah, if you don't like our show, go watch theirs.
Yeah. And if you don't like theirs, come watch ours. Either way, it's good stuff on tonight. No, because it's a lot of good stuff to talk about. And Greg and Aaron always do a good job. The Hump Day Hotline is always blazing, as you know. We always light it up. So let's get it, man. Let's get it.
Oh, and I apologize. It is the show contributor, the real Chris Jenke.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Always checking us when we're wrong. And yes, he actually corrected me in the middle of I was monologuing for 40 minutes on Sunday night, and I called Spencer Brown, Spencer Long. And then when I was going back through the comments, he came out, he's like, "It's Spencer Brown, Joe." I was like, "Oh, that's right. I just misspoke." I had it in my notes as Spencer Brown, but I said Spencer Long. And I was like, "Oh, well, it is what it is."
Yeah, it just is. It's so natural because we've said Spencer Long for so long on our team. It just pops out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so what's good? What's good in Arizona land?
Man, it's hot. It's hot. It's 105 today. It's a beautiful day. But no, everything is good. I'm actually excited to be out here, though. It's some good stuff happening with the Cardinals. So I'm trying to get locked in and linked into their community as well. So I'm going to be kind of expanding some things that I'm doing. But no, it's fun times. Buffalo is doing great. Phoenix is doing great. So I'm happy all the way around.
Living the life. Oh, Matt Gavenda's in. Welcome into the show, Matt Gavenda, my guy, Matt. I love Matt. He's a good dude. Yeah, things are good here. We were at 77 degrees today, so I'll take that over 105. Sorry.
No, it's good in Buffalo. 77 is a great day.
but it was also 42 on Saturday. So let's not talk about that day or Friday. I mean, it was 42 on Friday, but yeah, Memorial Day or no, Saturday. Memorial Day wasn't that great. It was like 64, but yeah, you had to stay in the sun to stay warm. But it's a dread, Jason. Hey, Jason,
you know what?
Is this the Miami Dolphins, Jason Taylor? It can't be.
I mean, if it is, you need to go and text your sister and tell her to send me a response back. I'm trying to get her on the code of conduct, man. Come on, Jason.
You are verified now, so that might be the real Jason Taylor following you around.
Well, I'm trying to get his sister Joy to come on my show. So if this is Jason, hey, text your sister, man.
I thought
Chris,
go ahead.
Don't do this, man. Don't do this, Chris. Please don't do this.
I thought that was Sean Taylor from the former safety from the Redskins that had passed. I thought that was his sister. It's Jason Taylor's sister?
It's Jason Taylor's, yep.
Oh, my bad. Yep. Gotcha. So what are we talking about tonight, Jay Spence? Obviously the OTAs, right? What else? We're obviously going to talk about.
Well, we can start off there. I mean, we can start off there because the thing is, it's exciting. First, obviously, last week Stefon Diggs wasn't there. Our other new receiver wasn't. Oh no, I'm not that Jason. It's all right. We still love you, Jason, man. I just wish you were that Jason Taylor because I've been shooting my shot with all of these people, and I've been getting some good guests, and I got some good stuff lined up for the rest of the summer. But I would love to have Joy Taylor on the code of conduct. That would be a personal. Be a personal favorite. but OTAs last week Diggs wasn't there, and also our newly appointed wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders also wasn't there. And this week, both of them have shown up. There's a bunch of guys that actually have shown up this week that didn't show up last week. We got to see a video from Star.
Unbelievable video. And it's funny because like I got labeled a hater quick, and I know that you weren't really calling me a hater, but it wasn't just you. A lot of people are like, why is everybody hating on Star? I'm like, I don't hate. I want Star. Like I don't want Star to go anywhere. I want him to come. I want Ed Oliver to become what we want Ed Oliver to be. So in order for him to do that, we need Star to be back. I want Star to be back. So I was just saying he looks slim, and as much as Greg Thompson from Cover One was claiming that his biceps and his chest looked bigger in that gigantic hoodie he was wearing, for me, he looked about 40 pounds light. And I know these guys pack on weight. Offensive and defensive linemen go one of two ways. And you and I, and we've talked about Eric Wood in particular. If anybody's curious and you're on Instagram, find Eric Wood's Instagram, because the dude is 6'6" and svelte, like 36-inch waist, ripped in the chest, guns. He looks nothing like he did when he played. No. Offensive and defensive linemen do one of two things in the offseason and effectively after their career. They either lose all that weight because they've been trying to keep it on, or they get really fat and die. And go ahead.
I guess the encouraging part for me is that with all of it happening like that, he wasn't overweight. Like, so Correct. Even if he was underweight, like to me, the thing showed that he was working. The thing showed that he was still perfecting his craft, and it wasn't just that he was just at home doing nothing. So even if he is underweight, I was encouraged by it.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's going to put on probably 30 to 40 pounds in the next 3 months, which is insane. Like to think that a human could put on, and it's not going to be muscle. He's in lean muscle mass now. Like he's going to be putting on weight for the position, and it's amazing.
I just disagree though, man. I looked at it too, and I don't want to agree with Greg here, but I'm telling you, I'm looking at the picture, man. I don't agree with you. I don't think he looks slim. I think he looks muscular. Go
ahead. You're fine.
No, I'm saying he always kind of carried. I think he lost his gut, but it looks like he's way more muscular. And I compared it, and Greg's comment was actually similar to what I was going to say, but he commented before I did. I compared it to old pictures of him, and it seemed like he had a gut, and his shoulders was just like a little bit smaller. Now it looks like his shoulders are broad and muscular. It looks like he packed on some weight up top and just slimmed down in the gut area. So I mean, if he added strength and he's putting some quickness there, I'd love that.
Yeah, for me it was the neck. So like the old pictures when he plays, he has no neck, and now he has a neck. That's the giveaway to me, is it's always the neck rule. Like, what's your neck look like, bro? This is great from Chris Jenke. Social media is really amazing. Star gets hate for months, but 1 15-second clip and the hate goes away. It didn't go away. He lit social media on fire. There was a good 45, 60-minute period where Twitter was ablaze with Star Lotulelei. It was in fuego big time, which was fun to see. And it's great to have him there, because you have to wonder, and you and Marcel talked about it again on Monday. You have to have a conversation or think back to Stefon Diggs isn't in camp or isn't at OTAs, and McDermott was like, yeah, but he's in shape, he's working out, it's great. Star's not a camp. Well, whatever. Well, unfortunately, he's not here. You got to wonder if that message got to Star, right? And I have to,
Well,
I have to
I'm
assume
sure
it.
it did.
I have to assume that it did. Yeah.
And well, you know what? Even talking to like now the players that I've been talking to and Marcel and just the people who are around the team, Sean McDermott is a very, very careful person when it comes to choosing his words.
Very measured.
And
Very measured.
everything that he says, like you can put as much weight, put as much weight as you possibly can behind everything he says, because the way he chooses his words, it's like he's telling you what he feels every single time. It's just that sometimes the coach talk might, it might put a filter on it for you. But if you actually listen to it, he tells you what he feels. And, for him to say, yeah, it would have been nice to have him here, or however he worded it, it lets you know, like, he wasn't happy that Star wasn't there. But
and it literally comes back to what I had said to, I think it was last week, right? When I had said last week, just that there's an aspect to, it's been the last time we saw you was locker clean out day, the day after the Texans loss in the playoffs. And I think that's literally what it just came down to. I'm sure they've FaceTimed. I'm sure they've texted. I'm sure they've talked on the phone, but there's something about, seeing somebody and holding them, right? Versus, oh no, coach, I've been working out. Yeah, I've been on plan. I'm on schedule. Versus like having them in the building. And I think that having them in the building is a big deal. And that's the thing, Jason. He is in camp. So Star is there along with Emmanuel Sanders, along with Stefon Diggs, along with Devin Singletary, which is interesting because
Star showed up.
I thought he was there. Was he not there?
Oh, I didn't see Star show up yet. I know in a couple weeks, like when it's mandatory, but I didn't. I'll look it up now while you're talking.
Yeah, I thought for sure he was there. I could be wrong. I thought he was one of the ones that had shown up this week. I thought somebody said Star was in town. But what's interesting about it is just the guys that are coming. And if you listen back to the Jordan Poyer interview today, one of the reporters, was it Waro or who was it? So one of the reporters was like, the NFLPA is working hard to get these guys to not show up at OTAs, which is intriguing to me. And obviously the Bills are showing out in force outside of positions that don't really have a great effect in running around in shorts on 7-and-7 drills, defensive line, and some of the offensive line guys. But Bill's not at camp. I see you're getting ready to post that, which is good. So
yeah,
is he gonna pop up?
Morris, is Mitch Morris, Daryl Williams, Taiwan Jones, Mario Addison, Jerry Hughes, Vernon Butler, and Star Lotulelei have not shown up to camp. Marcel said his name different. I got to figure out if it's like Star Lotulelei or the way he said it. He was like, I don't even know how he pronounced it. I can't even try to do it.
I didn't hear him say it different. I'm pretty sure it's Lotulelei. I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, that's how I've always been saying it, and that's how I've always heard it. But he said it completely different. Yeah,
in 2 weeks is mandatory minicamp, and we will see everybody there at that point in time. At least everybody that is intending to play this year, which should be everybody, right? Mm-hmm. And then somewhere around, I was talking to Isaiah Hodgins and his wife. They're leaving. They're headed out of town June 17th. So that's when the dark period begins, as I said on my show on Sunday. That 4 week time period where it's just there's nothing going on in the NFL. Like all the players are in remote locations on beaches someplace, having that last get in with their family that they deserve. They legitimately deserve it because the next 25 weeks is nothing but football and nothing but like early mornings and late nights. So these guys work hard for their money and they deserve it. What's up, Mike? Good to see you, buddy. Apex is in the room. But yeah, so on the OTA thing, what do you want to talk about? Where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about Star? Do you want to talk about Emmanuel Sanders, who looked good today in some of the pictures or some of the videos that I saw? Do you want to talk about Josh and Steph?
You know what? We can start with all of, I mean, like wherever you want. But the thing that I'm most excited about, I'm admitting I was wrong. I like Greg Rousseau. I wasn't happy when we drafted him. I wasn't happy.
Well, wait. Let me curve that because. Were you not happy like I was not happy, or were you not happy? Not happy like I was happy was I was just caught off guard. It wasn't what I expected. That wasn't the guy. I was like, oh, okay, this guy. And then they followed it up with Boogie Bastion. And I was like, what is going on? And as it settled in for me, I was okay. Or were you more on the what's going on? Why this guy?
I was more on the what's going on, why this guy? Like
expound, like talk to me.
So first, I get that people take the year off, like Star just did, and we all want him back. So it's not about taking the year off, but you took a year off knowing that you were a top prospect for the position that you play. Like you were a top 3, if not the guy
Right.
So if he would have came into whatever the workouts or the combine, whatever it was, if he would have came in shape, ready, and he practiced all year for those drills,
right,
and he just came in and showed out, it would have been a complete. He probably wouldn't even have failed to us at 30.
Well, they
So
didn't expect him to.
and so that's the thing. It's like, come on, why are you taking this guy?
That's the thing that was missed in all the mock drafts and everything else is nobody expected, I think, him to fall as far as he did, which was kind of the surprise. That's why none of us had him linked to the Bills.
Yeah, nobody.
Right.
Nobody.
Right. But
so,
yeah.
well, I mean, when you say that, then it's like, okay, nobody had him linked to us. He fell. I was disappointed in the fact that it was him, that he just didn't show up. To me, when I look at that, it's like, okay, he's lazy. Now, I'm not saying I don't want to label him that way. I'm not that guy to do that. But that's the thought that went through my head, because I know, for instance, if Joe tells me, hey, Spence, in 6 months, our radio station that we're working on is going to be ready to go. We're popping off 6 months from today. Get your stuff ready. And then I come and I haven't practiced no monologues. I haven't been working on trying to do research to know how to be on the air for 3 hours or whatever. I just haven't prepared. Then I show up the first day and it's
Sorry, had to do it.
No, it's all good. Overreaction Sports is coming. It's coming your way. We're going to do this. But it's like, if that happens and I show up and I'm like not at all prepared, and you're like, this is not the Spence I was like. No, I'm not used to this Spence. I'm used to Spence being on point. He's ready. He's creative. And that's not what I got when I looked at Greg Rousseau. Now, I'm wrong. I'm telling you, I'm wrong. Yeah. He obviously, some guys, it's just like me in school. When I was younger, I didn't test well. I'm smart. I feel like I'm super smart. Like, I can do pretty much anything you put in front of me, I'll figure it out.
You're vice president of a bank. You're vice president of a bank. You're incredibly intelligent.
So yeah. So I mean, I know a little bit. Yeah. So
I don't ascribe to the theory, the theory that's out there that there are no low skill jobs. There are low skill jobs. You do not have one of them. You have a high skill job.
No, I'm super. It's a high stress, high level job. So I'm saying all that to say, not to brag of where I work or anything like that, but to say, like, there are people who might not test well or might not. If you have a metric to show that somebody might be good at something, sometimes the metric is off and it's just an outlier. This kid is special. This kid is absolutely special. So I didn't think he was going to contribute this year. He's going to.
Yeah, here's the thing. Jason Taylor asked a question that's driving down the point that you're basically hammering home. If he had a better pro day, does he still fall to 30? No. The answer is no.
And that's my argument. That's why I wasn't happy.
He's a freak of nature, and there's so many sides to the coin. It's not a two-sided coin of heads or tails. He had 1 year at defensive end, and he dominated in the 1 year that he played. 1 year at defensive end. Before that, he was a safety and a wide receiver. That does not compute. Like, there's no world where you think, oh, that 6'8" defensive end guy was a safety. Wait. That doesn't make any sense anywhere in the world. And then when you add all of his measurables, and the problem, one of the other sides is he hasn't learned all of his moves and he hasn't learned all of his skills because he's only played for 1 year at defensive end. So the amount of ceiling that he has, the amount of growth that he has, it's almost a Josh Allen story. It's not quite the Josh Allen story, but it's almost a Josh Allen story about high character, high ceiling. I love those two C's together: high character, high ceiling. The question is,
he does a Josh Allen type growth.
I just hope it is in 3 years. If it's 3 years, we're all going to be like, oh my God, that Greg Rousseau guy. But I want to see him. And Josh Allen did make a lot of great plays his rookie year. There was glimpses of this kid is playing at a different level than everybody else. He's just not really playing quarterback yet. His rookie season, he made a lot of men look like boys.
You want a hot take?
Sure.
He did make a lot of men look like boys. He did.
Yeah.
Hot take, fast forward to this year. Yeah. I think we're living in a world where by week 6, week 8 at the latest, I think Greg Rousseau and Bastion they both outsnap
Addison and
any
Butler.
of the
Addison and Butler.
I think I think those guys are going to be our two leading defensive ends by the middle of the season.
I think the expectation is that Bastion, if not week 1, week 3, is the starting defensive end across from Jerry Hughes. And yes, and they're obviously going to rotate guys at 40%, 49%, 51%. They're still living in that luxury land. And they're going to move Groot along that defensive line. He's going to play like Jason Pierre-Paul. He's going to have that role where he's outside, he's inside, he's outside on the other side, he's inside, he's outside. He's gonna and they're gonna give him a lot of opportunity to make hay.
A ton. And I tell you, I don't think AJ Epinesa is going to be in the mix as much. He has to have a hell of a camp.
They're already talking so highly about him. Like the coaches,
I get that. I understand that. But when you talk about that, like, and Marcel mentioned it, but the way I'm going to go from it is completely different. So every year, how many on any team, the best defensive front or the best pass rushing team, how many defensive ends does a team carry?
It's usually 4 or 5, I believe. 4.
And the guys that we have, I don't think any of these guys, if we cut them, are making it to our practice squad.
Well, the question is, there's a how do I want to say it? So, and this goes back to Marcel's point, and I don't like the point, but it's a point. Is Boogie Bastion going to play defensive tackle? Are they going to put some weight on him, 5-10 more pounds, and move him inside? And then if he does, what does that do for Harrison Phillips? And that's what I was saying. What I don't like about that comment, because I love Harrison Phillips. I love the person that he is. I love the man that he is. I love how much he loves him and embraces Buffalo. Thank you, Steel God. You are the man. I love everything about him. It's going to be interesting if Vernon Butler and Mario Addison are even on this football team. There's no, to your point, there's no way these guys are getting cut, and there's no way you're stuffing a first and second rounder on your practice squad. It's just.
Let me ask you this: What about F.A. Abada? I know some people look at him like a camp body. He would have led the team in sacks last year. They didn't sign him as just like as a nobody.
I don't think they signed him as a camp body. I think they signed him, and then the draft fell to them.
Right. So what I'm saying is, and I'm just talking defensive ends right now. So I'm gonna list the defensive ends that are currently on the team, and the Bills love basically everybody I'm about to name. We have Jerry Hughes, Greg Rousseau, Daryl Johnson, Mike Love. People forget about Mike Love. Mario Addison, AJ Epinesa, Carlos Basham, Brian Cox Jr.
Gone.
F.A. Okay, cool. Like, I mean, that's fine. He could be, but
got one off the list. One's gone.
You know what I mean? But it's like, so even with the one gone, that's 8 that I just mentioned. That's 8.
Yeah.
FA would have led the team in sacks last year if he played. So I think they really had plans for him. Now, if he's cut, cool. I'm not, but dude, because you're not going to keep 12 defensive linemen. You're not doing it because when you're talking about defensive tackles, like you said, Butler, Starr, you got Justin Zimmer, I think, has done enough last year that the team really wants to involve him.
The two that are scary concerns is Justin Zimmer and Daryl Johnson. And Daryl Johnson is a big-time special teams contributor. Big-time special teams. I mean, think Mark Pike. Mark Pike was a special teamer, but I think he was listed as a defensive end or defensive tackle back in the old days.
So what do you think, man?
I think that there's some guys that have to be worried. And I think what's amazing about guys having to be worried is the amount of depth that continues to build on this roster is almost at scary levels. If they can find a way to become some semblance of the defense it was in 2019, and with that, find a way to get to the quarterback. I used the phrase last year, #wildest dreams land. We're not talking about wildest dreams, and we're talking about Super Bowl champion land. Yeah. That defense returns to top 5 form with Josh Allen, Stefon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, Gabe Davis, Zach Moss, right? Devin Singletary, Matt Breida. And oh, by the way, the rumor that we haven't gotten to yet, that the Bills are looking to go get Zach Ertz. And I love my take there. And I know that it's not a popular thing necessarily with some people, but there's a one ESPN reporter that had the Bills landing Ertz and Kawan Short with that cap space they made.
And that's the thing too. I think we're gonna get Kawan Short. I know you saw me tweet just Kawan Short.
Yep.
I think that's the target. Back to the first, and obviously we'll get to Ertz now. But before we move on, that's what we were just talking about: defensive tackles and defensive ends. You're bringing Kawan Short in. That's even more competition. So at that point, then are we talking about Jordan? I mean, are we talking about Phillips? Are we talking about like who are we talking about? He's got
to be a backup one tech, right? So what's interesting about this comment? Sorry, Daniel Gowris says Pike was the linebacker, as I recall it. Well, he was the tallest linebacker in NFL history besides Brian Urlacher. I guess not, because Tremaine's 6'5", right? 6'6". There's not a whole lot of linebackers who are 6'5", 6'6". So Pike was a big old boy. But anyway, I think he was a big old boy. Chris Yankee's going to correct me here in a minute. He's like, actually, Mark Pike was 6'1".
But
to your point, man, I don't remember if you said it. I want to say you said it or somebody said it, whether it was Bruce or you or somebody that's close to us said that we're living in a space. I was on Pat Moran's show and I said I don't even know what number Vernon Butler is. So that's how much impact he made. And I incess over the players' numbers. I know all their numbers. And he asked me at one point in time one question. I was like, I don't even know Vernon Butler's number. Anyway, it was either you or Bruce or somebody close to us that said that we are on a live show or on a podcast that we're about to live in the world where we're going to lose guys we love just because there's better guys on the football team. And I would tell you that even in the 90s Bills, that didn't really happen.
I don't feel like it was this deep. Like, I feel like the top level guys were super good. So the guys that we brought in every year for camp and stuff, like, it's like, okay, we know they're not making a roster this year. And even last year, we're deep. Like our team from top to bottom, like so what are we at? 88 guys on the roster right now, or 89?
I don't know.
Well, I feel like from Chris, let us know. He let you know Butler's number already too.
I knew Butler's. I know Butler's number now, but legit, when I had that show with Pat Moran, I did not know Butler. I had no clue what Butler's number was, and it was at the end of the season. I was like, I have no idea.
Man. So, but I mean, that's just the point that I'm making, though. I feel like from 1 to 75, we have guys that can make any team in the league. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
We're gonna have to get Chris Yankee in here as a producer, right?
We do. I gotta get him on the conduct
to feed us information. I don't know. Does he want to? Is he incognito? Does he want to be the world to know like who he is? And 6'4", 272. That's where to go. 6'4", 270. Oh, yep. That's a big old boy for a linebacker.
It is. It's Bills Mafia. I'm not sure what STF stands for.
Well, if there's a U at the end of it, I know what it means.
Yeah. Is it? I don't know, but we'll figure that out. But if Short comes in, if they keep 4, it would have to be Short, Star, Oliver, and then Phillips or Zimmer. But that's the thing. We're saying Phillips or Zimmer. No, 4. Let's name 4. Like, who are you cutting? If you were Brandon Beane or Sean McDermott, this type of, and you know what I'll do is I have the depth chart pulled up. Let's kind of go through it real quick.
Sure.
You know, I feel like it's some fun. I feel like it's deep, and I want to pull at the heartstrings of people, because when you start talking about
the STF is his initials,
I got you.
And I will not be buying a Hawk jersey. And the reality is that Spence still has not made good on his Tyler Bass jersey, nor has Judge Mathis made good on his butt tattoo JA17. So
okay. First, Tyler Bass has not kicked a game-winning field goal. That was the bet, but I will buy it. I will buy a jersey. I will, because actually, well, no, speaking of that, I wanted to show this later, but I feel like there's no better time than to do it than now, since we're bringing him up. Where is it at? Where is it? I just downloaded it. My man Sal tweeted out earlier that Bill's second-year Tyler Bass, or kicker Tyler Bass, coming off a record-setting season, was perfect today. 27, 33, 37, 40, and 47 yards out. You know what I like, Joe? What? I love to not talk about our kicker.
Amen. Or our punter. Or our punter.
And I feel like we're there now. But I do. Like, I feel like that's going to be the last like real tweet that we get to see from any of our contributors about, or journalists or whatever, about Tyler Bass. I feel like now it's just like, okay, there's no competition. We got our kicker. We're good.
Yep, I agree. The reason this Apex, Mike talks about the Bills keeping 6 defensive ends and 4 defensive tackles, Groot makes part of that difference because he can play inside and outside. So it's kind of like 5.5, 4.5, but that's another conversation.
Okay, well, let's start off here with the because we already started. So we're starting with the defensive line. So let's start off with we'll start off with left end.
Oh.
No, there's not a game-winning kick. They didn't score. It wasn't a close game. They couldn't score, and we kicked field goal. I'm saying a game-winning field goal.
It was a no punt game. Every field goal was the winner.
I'll get it. Yeah, just I'll get it, but you know what I mean when I say game-winning field goal.
He,
He's
he,
the dude, though. I love Tyler. I'm not, I'll get a jersey, no problem.
he definitely has not had that. We need to ice the kicker moment yet. So last 6 seconds, last 3 seconds of the game, 48 yards in the snow or in the rain, in the wind, need this to win. He has not had that moment. So, but yeah, roster me up.
Okay, so let's first let's stick with the defensive end. So let's say we're going to keep 4, right? Or 4. How many defensive ends do you generally think we would keep?
It's probably usually 5 to 6.
Okay, so let's
edge rushers.
Let's do it at 6.
Okay. Am I gonna cry? Are you gonna make me emotional in this conversation?
I don't know. I just want to know who you would cut. So I'm gonna name the guys. Jerry Hughes, would you cut him?
Nope.
Greg Rousseau.
I would extend Jerry Hughes. Jerry Hughes has become. I've talked about it. Jerry Hughes has become the lead. He's become a veteran leader in that locker room, and Kyle Williams had to leave for Jerry to emerge.
Yeah,
because
I'm not debating.
Kyle's presence was so big. Kyle had to leave for Jerry, and Jerry has emerged, and he is still the most held defensive end in the NFL. Nobody has held.
That face.
Nobody is
held.
I
was saying because I made the face because somebody yesterday, like when we were talking about all this stuff on Twitter, somebody tried to say like, oh, well, they should cut Jerry Hughes to bring in, like if they cut Jerry Hughes, then we can afford Julio. And I'm like, why the hell would you ever cut Jerry Hughes? Like that does not make this team better.
I'm not saying give him 5 more years, 2, right? Or 1. Do what they did with Lorenzo. Like just keep tacking on years as long, like 1 more year until he's done playing. Like he brings something. So Jerry Hughes, I'm not cutting. Sorry.
Yeah, yes. Jerry's here. Jerry's a Buffalo Bill until the day he decides to retire or the day he decides to leave Buffalo.
Listen, Richard, don't get ahead of us.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll just read all 9 guys that we have, and then tell me the 3 you would cut.
Gotcha.
So we have Jerry Hughes, Greg Rousseau, Daryl Johnson, Mike Love, Mario Addison, AJ Epinesa, Carlos Bastion Jr., and F.A. Obada. I always miss
F.A. Obada. Yep. Well, Mike Love is not making this football team, and it's unfortunate. He's going to make another football team, but it won't be this football team. So that's
okay.
And I think there's
Mario Addison.
And the problem is Mario Addison's deal, if I'm not mistaken, is set up to not benefit the Bills to keep him or to lose him. It benefits the Bills to keep him more so than to let him go.
I know Brian Cox is gone already.
Brian Cox is gone. Yeah.
What do you think about F.A.? You think F.A.'s gone or F.A. stays?
I think F.A.'s here. I want to. I don't know. We want to see.
Johnson?
Oh, man, it's tough because that Smiley, who I got a chance to meet the other day because his daughter runs track with my daughter, so I got to meet him at the track meet the other day. Coach Smiley is going to be pounding the table. He's going to be pounding the table for Daryl Johnson. Daryl Johnson is a big piece of that special teams. And the names you listed, as much as some of them do play special teams, they're not special teamers.
Right.
These are guys you almost protect, right? Outside of field goal. I've got Mike Love. I can't be the only one to pick. Who else?
No, I mean, people in here were picking. So they're saying cut Love, DJ, and Cox.
Well, Cox is a defensive tackle, is he not?
No, Cox is gone, I believe, isn't he? But he's an end. He's a defensive end.
Oh, he might not even be on the football team anymore, which is good. So, because
he might still be here, but I feel like he's gone. If he's still here, then Cox is one of the guys.
I'm old enough to remember hating Brian Cox's dad. So, to me, that's like letting the enemy inside the walls, or the son of the enemy inside the walls. Obada, I think, stays unless he has a really bad camp. I just can't see it. Man, that's tough. Read him to me again. Hughes. Oh wait, they're right here, right?
Jerry Hughes. Okay, yeah. So,
no, that's who he's saying stays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So who does he have? He has Love gone, and he's got Johnson gone. No, he's got Johnson there. Who's missing here?
Okay.
Oh, he's got Addison gone. He's got Addison gone.
Well, I'll read them again for you. We got Jerry Hughes. Actually, you know what?
On the roster, Jerry Hughes makes the team.
Jerry Hughes, Greg Rousseau
makes the team. Bastion.
Daryl Johnson. I think. Oh man, he's on the bubble, but he had. Yep. Go ahead. You said Mike Love is gone.
Gone.
Mario Addison.
Is It's a cap thing. He's gone, in my opinion. To me, it's Addison and Love.
AJ Epinesa.
He's on the team. They're not giving up on AJ Epinesa. He's done way too much that they've asked him to do as it pertains to weight and trying to be the player that they want him to be. He's answering the bell. They're not done with him yet. Second round draft pick, they're not done with him yet.
Okay. Let's move on to defensive tackle now. So we got Vernon Butler, Lotulelei.
I want to see Butler gone, but okay.
You want to see Butler gone?
Yeah, Lotulelei makes this football team.
Ed Oliver.
Obviously makes that. Sorry, Harrison Phillips and
who? Justin Zimmer.
It's the last four.
So Ed Oliver, Starr, Harrison, and Zimmer.
Butler's gone. Gonzo.
Okay.
He should never have been. They never should have restructured his contract. The only reason I can think they did that was because they weren't sure how it was. I don't think they had an inkling that they were going to be where they are now.
Now let's have some fun, because now we're talking about other positions that are deep. Let's talk about the linebacker position. Let's go outside linebacker.
Yeah,
Matt Milano, he's there.
Of course.
AJ Klein, he was the defensive player of the week last year. He's there. Unless he has a horrible camp, AJ Klein is there.
AJ Klein is probably making. They finally, who was I talking to? Was it Fina or somebody that said they finally figured out how to scheme him. The problem that he was having early in the season is they weren't scheming him properly. Yep. And they finally started scheming him right, which is important for Bills Mafia to understand, specifically on the running ball, like running the football side. When you change the scheme, it affects the player. And when you start scheming to his strengths, he plays better. So that's important to note that. So yes, when they started scheming for him, he started playing, like showing up in the stat sheet. But anyway, yeah, he probably makes this football team.
Okay. Tyro Dodson.
They were talking about him playing well. Are they not talking about him playing well?
They were. Tyrell Adams.
He's probably gone. I don't know.
Probably gone. Okay. So now we're still linebackers, but we're moving to the middle here.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tremaine makes the roster.
Yeah.
Our guy Tyler Matakovich. I always say that wrong too.
Special teamer. He's not only is he playing, not only is he staying because of special teams. I rewatched that Miami football game Saturday. He was everywhere in that football game. He played well in that football against the Miami starters, and Miami was not a slouch team last year. They were a 10-win football team. He played well.
Andre Smith. He got some praise today from the head coach and the defensive coordinator. He got love today. He's a tackling machine. They love him. I think he makes the roster. I think he's a lock. If you don't have Andre Smith on your final 53, I feel bad for your roster is going to be wrong.
Timeout. And this is a deja vu moment for me. And it's a moment of awakening for all of Bills Mafia who are watching us and listening to us and are going to watch us later. This is pretty much the same time last year when you told me the guys that were going to make the football team, and you were right.
It is actually, you're right.
Before the Hump Day Hotline existed, before any of that crap, before anything else, before any of these people knew who you were, and like barely any of them knew who I was, because I just joined Fanatics. It was COVID. It was the off season, and I was buried in my basement trying to do technical stuff for my job to make things work 13 hours a day, 7 days a week. You literally got on my podcast and you're like, these guys are making the football team. And I was like, you're out of your mind. And sure enough. So
well, I'll tell you, Andre Smith is on there, man.
I think I need to be reading the players' names, and you need to be telling us who's staying on this football team.
Well, I feel like Andre's there. If he has a horrible camp, then yeah, but I'm telling you, man, Andre Smith is they need sure tackling. Last year when Edmonds got injured and he was trying to play through the injury, and fans made some big complaints about the way he was missing tackles or he wasn't being super aggressive and all of that stuff. This guy Andre Smith, you don't have to worry about that. If Tremaine is out, this guy, you don't have to worry about a drop off as far as tackling.
In my opinion, if he makes the team, the guy that's gone is Dodson. I'm not as sold on Tyro Dodson as people were last year. I don't know that he played as well as people felt he should have. I think if he had, how do I want to say this properly? If he had been as effectual as we had anticipated or people expected him to be, they would not have forced Tremaine to stay in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and I'm with you.
Tremaine, we're going to shut you down for we have this benefit of the 3-week IR thing. We're going to shut you down. This kid's playing okay. We trust this kid. It wasn't. It was like we need to keep trucking him out there. Even though he's hurting our football team, he's still better than the other guy. The one game I think Terrell played when Edmonds didn't, he did not play well, unless I'm mistaken. I don't remember being happy. So,
well, I think out of those guys, I think Adams or Dotson would be the guy getting cut.
You want me to read it? My your only contribution, Chris. This is like the 17th. Yeah. Tyrell Adams was a league leader in tackles last year. Look up his stats, Jay Spence.
I will look up Tyro Adams stats.
While he's looking it up, everybody jump on that like button, hump the like button, whatever platform you're watching or listening on. We appreciate you being a part of the show. This is my favorite night of the week. Absolutely. Not only because I get to sit here with my bestie, but I get to sit here with all of my besties in Bill's Mafia. Apex says Smith made the hit that caused the fumble in the Miami game, week 17.
I'm with first of all, I'm with Chris. I think Adams is a monster. I think the tackling that they want, I think again, the point that I was just making about short tackling and not missing and all that stuff. I think that's the guy who does it. But I think that Dotson, I think he's the odd man out.
I think he's the odd man out. Robbie's back, and apparently he doesn't remember being here at the top of the show, and we said hi to him earlier.
Yeah. What's up, Robbie?
Good to see you, Robbie.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
So out of all those guys, I think I think Dotson misses the cut. Markel Lee, I think they liked him, and I think they want to develop him. I think he's a practice squad guy. Nothing against him. I think he's just not quite there yet. And then there's a couple guys, Mike Bell. I don't think he's making the roster. Unfortunately, cool dude, really cool dude. Shout out to Mike. But
it's insane the guys that are going to be riding the pine this year.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I'm reading these names, and it's like, dude, we got some guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, even offensive line. Like even when you want to switch to the other side of the ball, you're looking at offense. When you're talking about guards and tackles, like after Dion, after Cody, like those two guys are making it. Our starters are making it.
Yeah, it's going to be Dion, Cody Ford, Mitch Morse, Feliciano, Darrell Williams. That is our starting front five. Yeah. So, I'm excited about it, provided they pick a scheme these guys can run.
Well, I think they gel very well. I know, and I think I said this the other day. Like as Bills fans, were critical because we want them to be perfect, but they played well. They gelled. There were times at the end of the season where Josh was literally like back there doing his nails, man. Like he was chilling.
At the end. So Marcel said something on your show that literally not mind blown me, but like I was like, whoo. He had said that is in his opinion, and he had stats to back it up, that he feels like McDermott likes Zach Moss over Devin Singletary.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, my conspiracy theory would be it wasn't Brian Daboll that switched to the wide zone running scheme. It was McDermott telling Daboll, we want Moss to carry the ball, switch to the wide zone. Because Singletary was far more successful in the pin and pull. He's a pin and pull guy. Like that's how he made hay in his rookie season. When it went to the wide zone, neither one of them could get outside to hit the holes to find the running lanes. But I wonder if it was McDermott saying, this is the guy we want to feature, right?
I tell you, man, I'm not too sure that Singletary might not be used as trade bait at some point soon. Honest to God, man. I know we love him in Buffalo. We loved him after the playoff loss against the Texans a couple of years ago, and it's going in the next season, he's going to be the guy. I know we all loved him, and then we were hard on him. And after the AFC Championship game, Singletary is a very good back in this league. If he's in the right scheme, he's going to be very effective. But I think with the type of team that Sean McDermott wants to run, I mean, think about those Carolina teams. Think about he wants to run the ball effectively.
Yeah,
obviously we got Josh now, so he wants to air that thing out. But when we run, he wants to be able to run, control clock, and run it when they know we're going to run it. We can't do that right now with Devin.
But I think it's a scheme fit, and John Fina said that as well. And this is where it gets weird when you talk about professional football players and you talk about their careers and you talk about their accolades, because I'm going to say this, and you're probably not going to agree if I know you as well as I do. Terrell Davis would not have been Terrell Davis had they not run the zone. Had Shanahan not been a zone guy.
I'm not going to agree with you there
because he was a zone running back. That's what he was. He was and they were one of the first teams to really that was the first time I remember what the zone running scheme was when they were running it, and he was super dominant.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Terrell Davis from the Denver Broncos.
Okay, I completely heard something different when you said that, but go ahead. Okay,
yeah, Terrell Davis. No, I'm not.
I won't disagree with you on that. I'm not a Davis fan.
I mean, he was dominant. He was insanely good, but I'm not sure that I don't want to say he was a product of the system.
Well, I will. I will.
No, because is a guy a product of a system if he's good in the system, or is this just the system that fits his running style? And those are two different things.
Every running back that went into that system was great.
Oh, yeah, Orlando Gary, who Travis Henry called Orlando. he's on a team with him for 20 weeks, and he calls him Orlando Gary. It's like, bro, it's like you're in the
you don't know your teammates, man. What's going on here?
Sorry,
but you're right. But it's like, seriously, every single running back in that system at that time,
it's true, was good.
Was a great running, and I'm not talking about good, great running back.
Yeah.
So no, and I'm sorry. I know,
it's possible. It's possible.
I know he's a Hall of Famer, all that stuff. Sorry. Nope.
He was just so good. So my point about that is that to me, there's something to be said for the scheme. And I don't think the scheme, if they're committed to running the wide zone again this year, I agree with you. I think that Singletary is either third on this depth chart or maybe fourth, or he's a third down back to run, to do the little flares, the running back curls, stuff like that. Or he's trade bait, to your point. You got to wonder if it's going to be Zach Moss, Matt Breida, and Antonio Williams, because Antonio Williams looked like a man on a mission in that Miami football game. I watched it back.
He did, and I know he didn't hit 100 yards, but he only played the second half, and he only the guy is incredible, man. 2 touchdowns, that's just it's crazy.
Yeah, and by the way,
glad you have that.
And the one thing that I do want to say, and I put this in the group chat with you and Bruce, neither of you responded. So I met Zach Moss on Sunday. I'm 6 feet tall, and you can confirm it because we've met and you've hugged me. I'm 6 feet tall. When I met Zach Moss, I was like, that dude ain't short. And I literally, I don't want to say studied him, but I was like, that dude's almost as tall as me. And he literally is 5'10 and a half, 5'11. He is not 5'9. He's a big old boy, and he is dense. He is dense. He is a thick dude. So I don't know if he's grown in the last couple of years. It's possible, I guess, but I don't know. He's not 5. He's not 5'9.
I haven't been able to see him in person like that, like not on the field, so I can't tell. I'll take your word for it because, like you said, your height. But
yeah.
But the thing that I want to see from them this year, look, if you're gonna dedicate, so if they like him, dedicate to what fits him. If they like Devin, dedicate to what fits him. I'm not saying we need to have like a true, but we got to figure something out, man. Because last year it hurts. It hurts when your quarterback is the only reason why you're still getting first downs on the ground. Like that hurts.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Christian Wade is never probably going to play an NFL snap in a real football game. First of all, second of all, trade motive for what? I don't know. 4th round draft pick.
Hey, Rich, do me a favor, man. I never say anything, but every week you spell my name wrong. Can you please put a C in there instead of an S?
He's Canadian. He's Canadian.
But my name isn't Canadian. My name is English.
He's not Canadian. He's from Zanesville, Ohio. He's from 25 minutes from where I used to live in Columbus.
Yeah, throw that C on there, man. Put some respect on my name. I love you.
That's so funny. 4th round draft pick would be my guess. Is probably what Motor would probably garnish. Is that the word? Garner, whatever. Bring.
Yeah, and it also depends on who we're trading to, man. Because Brandon Beane is good at what he does. So if somebody is hungry and they need, like they really need a talent, hey, we got it. But what you gonna give up for it? Yeah. So it just depends. It depends because I mean, you remember, I know now Wyatt Teller is awesome, but when we cut him, he wasn't gonna make the roster. So everybody was shocked. Like, man, we're gonna get a high draft pick for.
Well, we didn't cut him. We didn't cut him. We traded him.
We traded him. No, he was going to be cut, I'm saying.
Yes.
So it's like we got a draft pick for somebody who was going to get cut in a couple weeks.
Right. Yep, for sure. And I did not hug Zach Moss. I met Zach Moss, shook his hand, had a decent conversation with him. So good dude.
He said he hugged me.
Yes, I've hugged Spence many times. Yeah, we are bros. So I've never copped a feel on Jay Spence, but I've definitely hugged him. So
No, that is
no cuppage.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that, man. Antonio is a good dude, really, really good dude.
Yeah. And I wouldn't mind. I'll be honest with you. Get me Special K. Bring Special K back. Give me that dude.
You know what? The way he was talking, he had me ready, man. I'm like, hey, why don't you call Sean? Call Sean, man.
Right.
And he looks like he's in shape. He hasn't taken hits. He's been out of the league for a few years now. So
he's been in Canada, is he not?
Well, no, I know he was going to play last year, and when COVID happened, everything shut down, so he didn't actually go play. So he had a year off. I mean, hey, if I would love to see it if he can get back to that type of play that his rookie year. You throw him in the mix. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. And this is hard. So Daniel says, nope, that's not the one. It was Krishenki said, motor trade value is extremely low right now. The hard part about this is it turns into do you take a 5th or a 6th-round pick for a guy you're going to cut? And that's literally Wyatt Teller. That's literally what it turns into. Do you take a 5th or 6th round pick? I don't think his
trade value is extremely low.
It's probably not high. That's why I said 4th. He was a 3rd-round pick, and that's why I said 4th. They'd probably get a 4th.
Well, but to me, a 4th is not low. Like, so when you say, not you, but like when Chris says like it's extremely low, to me that's like a 6th or a 7th. Like that's not a to me a 4th-round draft pick is about where I would put it. Right, I think that's a mid, and the reason why I say that, first of all, you have to look at the scheme that he's in. Yeah. There's film on Devin Singletary as a prospect coming out of college, and then there's film on Devin Singletary as a member of the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are a pass-first, pass-heavy offense.
Right.
He's not going to get the same touches as Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry or any of those guys. So, us looking at his stats is not the same way that these teams are going to analyze these players when they're looking at trade partners. So I think Devin is still going to be able to get a 4th.
Don't sweat it, my guy. He isn't that. He isn't
upset. I love Rich.
Yeah, he's not upset. So I love this. This is just go with this one. Richard Rush, my autocorrect changed Jay Spence all the time. So that's the answer. We'll just call it that.
Boom. Oh, I was trying. I guess they're having another conversation. I was going to jump in that. Oh, and I guess something happened with Joe's audio. So I was trying to read some of these comments. So while Joe is going to fix his audio, let's see. Beane traded Russell Bodine, and he dealt him to the Pats, who cut him. You're right. And I remember at one point, I still can't. Oh, you muted yourself. Unmute yourself, boss. Nope, can't hear you. Well, while Joe is figuring himself out, let's see. My man Rich says Moss, Motor, and Breida. Williams to the practice squad for when Moss is injured. You know what? Here's the thing, Rich. The thing that I'm actually kind of, I don't know if Breida actually makes the roster. And this is, so hear me out before everybody jumps in on me. If it's going to be Moss and Motor, I think Williams absolutely has a chance to make this roster just based off of what Joe was saying. Like last year, he stuck around the team. He was with the team. Week 17, he did a tremendous job in that game. And then he was called up again in the playoffs against the Colts. He didn't get a ton of snaps. He didn't carry the ball a ton, but the team trusted him to activate him for a playoff game. So it's a little bit different. And when you're looking at, Matt Breida, he has a very specific skill set. He's quick. He's very fast. You're still muted, Joe. I see you keep tapping your mic, but you're muted. His skill set is the speed. His skill set is the things that we feel like Devin can't do. That's what he's going to bring to us. So the thing is, I don't know if the Bills are looking to really push a running back to be like a feature guy. And if you're looking for a committee, I think we have everything we need with Motor, Moss, and Williams. Cheaper on a rookie, and actually he was undrafted, so it's a cheaper contract. It's a way more team-friendly deal. I think Matt Breida, if he comes in and like training camp, if he comes in here and he kills this thing and he does everything that he was supposed to do, and he cracks open a few big plays and he has a couple long touchdowns and a couple great passes from Josh, if he shows out, then yeah, that's when I feel like Devin is expendable. I think Antonio Williams is a part of this roster going forward. And I'm not saying that just because I interviewed him last week or the week before. I'm saying it because I've watched the game and I talked to a couple people around the building. They feel good about Antonio Williams. It's not just It's not just that. And I agree with you, Rush. They do want Breida speed, but you have to look at how the offense runs. What Breida is going to do is essentially the same thing that we have Isaiah McKenzie on the team for. Not for necessarily handing the ball off, but Matt Breida is a very good receiving back. He does a lot on the screen passes and a lot of those things. He'll be a good gadget guy for as far as like running those jet sweeps and all that stuff. He's cheap. Isaiah McKenzie's cheaper. He's more familiar with the offense. The team knows him. So what I'm saying is, like, I agree with you. It very well could go that way. And Breida's a great player. Like, we brought him in for a reason. I just really think that the team, the way, from what I've seen from Brandon Beane and from what I've seen from Sean McDermott, I've seen that they really appreciate building guys up. And if they can develop their own guy, they'll choose that 10 times out of 10 over bringing in somebody, unless the talent is just that much better. And let's be honest. I mean, are you gonna? And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, because I might be here. But what I'm saying is, I think Matt Breida is an NFL caliber running back. He's been in the league for a long time. Well, not long, but long enough, and he's performed at a high level. But I don't see Matt Breida as a guy that is like, when you sign him, your team changes. You're not excited because your team changes. We're still looking at Devin. We're still looking at Zach as the top two guys on the roster. After that, it's anybody's team to make. So what I think about Matt Breida is that he has to show up and actually prove that he deserves a spot on the team. I think that Aaron Williams was on the team last year. I think that he has a rapport with Sean McDermott. I think that he has a relationship with Brandon Beane and the relationship with the other running backs and offensive players and Josh. So I think there's a couple things that are on Antonio Williams' side that I don't know. That's just how I see it.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It sounds a little weird, a little empty, but I mean, we only got a couple minutes, so we can fix that going forward, for next time.
I kicked my interface audio cable out of my computer, so sorry.
Chris asked, do we think that Antonio Williams can make the roster over Taiwan Jones? I do not think he can make it. No, I don't. I think no, because Taiwan Jones is a special teamer. He's not a running back. I know he plays the position of running back. Taiwan Jones is a lock. He's making the team because he's the best special teams gunner. Like, the dude is amazing on special teams.
It's true.
I think as far as running back, and I know you had sound issues. I don't know if you were still able to hear what I was saying. What I was saying is, I feel like Matt Breida actually is the odd man out if he doesn't have an amazing camp, because we brought him in. He has the speed that we're looking for, but he's basically, when he is in the offense, he's basically going to be another Isaiah McKenzie. He's that guy that does the screen passes. He's going to do some jet sweeps. If we do hand it off, he's going to be on the outside. But for the most part, it's Devin and it's Zach. Yeah. So if Matt Breida doesn't break off a ton of huge runs to really crack this roster, I think Antonio Williams has the upper hand because he was on the roster. He scored 2 touchdowns in week 17. He knows the system. He knows Brian Daboll. So I think it's actually the top. I think it's the same guys that we had last year that's going to end up making it. I don't think Breida makes it unless Devin just is really that far out of, if the team fell out of love with Devin like that, got benched in the championship game, who knows? Who knows? It might be Devin out.
Right. So we got a whole bunch of people in here. We've been on this thing for a good hour. So can you hear me okay? Is it all right?
Yep.
I got you. My system is working right now in a way that it should not be working. So it doesn't make any sense to me, but I'm going to go with it. Literally. Do we want to pivot, and talk about the cap room that Beane created for the last 10 minutes, and take some questions after that? Because he created a significant, The hour's up. That's true, yeah. But I
gotta eat. I love y'all, but I mean, it's a 3-hour difference here, guys. I'm sorry. It's 8 o'clock there. It's 7 for me. I haven't eaten since lunch, so I can't go overtime.
Gotcha. So we will not be talking about the cap space that Brandon Beane created.
I'll tell you what, if you guys are for it, and if Joe is free, what I'll do is, let's have an extension of this on the Code of Conduct next week. And instead of me doing what I had planned, I'll have you on as a guest. We could talk about the cap space, and then we can actually do, because we were supposed to schedule it and do what we were supposed to do, but we never got a chance to go over the schedule and to so I think that'd be cool.
I'm not using a Roadcaster. I'm using a whole bunch of other equipment. I've looked into the Rodecaster, but right now I'm still using an iMac and a big giant interface and a bunch of microphones and stuff. I just kicked the cable out. I kicked the FireWire cable out of my computer, which is never a good thing. But no, I'm down for that. Absolutely down for that. So
okay, so ladies and gentlemen, next Monday night, live it'll be
hot take.
basically hump day. You heard it here first. Hot news drop. But yeah, Joe's gonna join me on the Code of Conduct next week, and then you got us again for the hump day. So you'll see us a lot next week together. So let's do this, man.
This was one of the fastest shows we've done in a while. Like that hour went quick.
It went quick. It went very quick.
Good conversation. Great group of people in the chat as always. Like a lot of good conversation. Some technical difficulties because I'm an idiot. But yeah, I'm just looking back through here. Was there anything that I missed? Oh, this is my sister. Thanks. Thanks, sis.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but I'm sorry. That's funny. That's funny.
And Jason, I am the technical advisor.
Right.
So
like everything about sound, Joe is the guy to go to.
Ask Fanatics who created their video on audio. It was me. So yeah. Anyways.
The Code of Humpcast.
What about Hump Day Conduct?
The Hump Day Conduct. Yeah, we'll come up with a real fun. We go. It's gonna be fun next week.
Oh, that's hysterical. That's hysterical. Well, I love you guys, and I love you, Jay Spence. And this was a lot of fun. And I'm just excited to see these guys throwing the football around the yard. So it's just good.
You know what it is too, Joe. Before we go, I think it's because it's actually real football news. So it's like it's going quick because we just have so much to talk about, and we really didn't go off the first topic.
Right.
So
we got stuck right there. So why don't you close us out? Send us off there, boss.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host Joe Miller Wired
I'm over here.
Yeah, I pointed this way, but I got to go that way. My co-host Joe Miller Wired. You can find him on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. You're on Instagram too. Is it the same handle?
I think it's Joe Miller III, and then there's one for Overreaction Sports. Yeah.
All right. Well, go follow him. Go check him out. Go see all his content. What do you got coming up Sunday, man?
Nothing. I don't know. I'm trying to get Marino on, but I don't know if it's going to work out. So it might get bagged. So right now, the Podfather. Yeah, it might just be me again. So which sometimes is good. It's funny because Pat Moran put out there, and not to belabor this, but Pat Moran put out a tweet I think last week, and he talked about how much respect he has for guys that can basically do podcasts solo. And doing the last two that I've done solo has been kind of a nice. I enjoy that monologue time. Like I enjoy that 40-minute, 45-minute time of talking. So if I go alone, I will. I'd love to get Vic Carucci on. Vic Carucci follows me on Twitter, so I'm going to reach out to Vic at one of these times and probably try to get Vic on. I gotta hustle like Jay Spence does. You have all the guests, so you got you're the man.
It's not easy.
It's not easy to be.
I get a lot more. No, not. I'm not saying it like not me. I'm saying getting guests. Like I get a whole lot more no's than I get yeses. But
yeah, for sure.
We're making it happen for you guys, man. It's fun.
So right now, there's nobody scheduled to be on the show. It's supposed to be Marino. We'll see. So no guarantees.
All right. So Sunday, kick it with Joe Miller at 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. for the Overreaction Sports Podcast on the Buffalo Rumblings Podcast and YouTube network. Then Monday night, like I said, you can find me, Jay Spence, with your boy Joe Miller again. We're going to have what did we call it? The conduct. What do we call it?
Conduct hotline or code of the hump day. I don't even go to the hotline, or I don't even
code of the hump. There's something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Wait, I got to address this. So I do not ignore you guys in the comment section when I'm alone. It's literally a podcast. You guys are watching me record a podcast, right? So it's hard. I have to think about how it translates to the several thousand people that listen to my show on Monday. Like if we jump around the way that we do here, this one does not get pushed to the podcast network. So this one stays on YouTube.
It's a tough balance. It's a tough balance.
It's a tough balance for sure. It's a tough balance.
And I know it's because I've actually got people DM me sometimes like, "Hey man, you ignored me. I was just trying to ask this."
Yeah.
And it's like we really seriously. And I think maybe what we might maybe I'll start scheduling it to where the live show is actually like an hour and a half, but the hour is the part that gets loaded, and then the half hour after. So I'll figuring out my schedule to where we can do it that way, to where I eat before this, so that way, but we can kind of go live and record the show the way we do it. And
I say on Sundays, I'll open up the show at the end to questions.
Yeah.
And that even signals the listener on Tuesday kind of what's happening. So it's just hard because when I get, you know how it is, you monologue. So when you get monologuing, you've got a script, you've got an outline, and you're vamping off of that. It's hard to look in the comment section and get distracted, and then you like totally lose your place. And it's like I don't even remember what I was talking about. So, but I answered your question. So yeah, it's and when the day comes that we can do super chats, I don't know what's going to happen then because that's going to f the whole train up. So because obviously you have to respond to super chats. So, but yeah, anyways,
but again, it's one of those things where I feel, we can talk about that off the air. I don't know, but I agree. It's like, it's very difficult to do sometimes. So
yeah,
we don't mean to annoy you. We love all of you. We appreciate you all. This is the Hump Day Hotline. Ladies and gentlemen, do us a favor, go subscribe on YouTube to the Buffalo Rumblings or YouTube network. Hit that like, hump that like, go and check out everybody on the network. And we love y'all. We'll be back and see y'all again Sunday with Joe. You'll see me Monday with Joe. And then again next Wednesday with the Hump Day Hotline. Go Bills.
Go Bills.